Season 4 Infection, the season that saved Halo, right? Well, not so much. Season 4 did drop recently, and I think it's time to examine if Halo Infinite is finally worth playing, and, also if the season is any good. So first things first, let's just get it out of the way early. People can start raging about how Steam numbers don't matter. Let's look at how the season is performing. So before the season, the game was peaking at around 4,000-ish players on Steam every day, and on Wednesday when the season dropped, we did get 8,300 players. Now the following day it was already down to 7,000, and it's probably going to be lower today as when I'm recording. So we did see a 100% gain, but I don't know how many of those players are actually sticking around. Now we can't see the Xbox numbers, so I know that's going to be the first thing someone comments. I don't know. The Xbox most played list takes about a week or so to really update, so we don't even know how many places it'll jump up there. But for the time being, this is what we saw on Steam. I'm leaving it at that. So overall, how did this season perform? On Steam, pretty much right in line. I had guessed between 6,000 and 8,000, so actually a little bit higher. Obviously, last season was over 10,000 players on Steam, so it's even lower than that previous season, even though this one, had the big game mode Infection. And obviously, this is nowhere even near what the game peaked at when the game dropped, which is to be expected because 343 isn't really marketing this, or you could say Microsoft isn't really marketing it since it wasn't in the showcase literally at all. So performance is kind of what it is. The real question is going to be, does it hold players long term? It's not looking like it's gonna, but we will wait and see there. Now, like every update for Halo Infinite, there was also some bugs that came with it. There was two big ones that I saw. One was that originally BTB had battle rifle and rocket launcher starts, which was unintentional. And then the other big one was that there was a placement bug when you were playing the new ranked Team Slayer playlist, and a lot of people, if you finished your placement games early, ended up in gold, even though they might be Onyx or high diamond level players. We'll talk about this more later because this is actually a bigger deal than you realize. So that's kind of, bugs out of the way. There's obviously smaller things. Those were the two main things I saw. So let's kind of talk about what they actually added into the game, because for a Halo Infinite update, they did add a lot of content. Now for a live service game in general, that's a bit more debatable, but we did get some decent content here. It's kind of up to you whether or not you think this is actually like a meaningful season update. Now the first and biggest main thing, it's literally in the title of the season, is Infection. We finally got the game mode Infection almost 2 years after the game dropped. That is insane. Now, is Infection good? Sure, plays like Infection. Is Infection revolutionary and it should have taken this long? Absolutely not. There are little changes here and there, like the maps change a little bit. Some of the maps have open sections that aren't normally opened, and the map looks a little kind of red, along with the infected players also turning a little bit red from the AI, and they have their red sword, which is unique to them. But for the most part, Infection is exactly what you would expect Infection to be. Now, I've never been a big matchmaking Infection fan, so I actually think Infection will shine as creators start to make cool things in Forge based around Infection. But as of today, this is Infection as you play it in Halo 5 or 4 or Reach or even Halo 3 matchmaking, with the added part, there's a little bit different sandbox in this game, and obviously you have the equipment. So you have things like the quantum translocator if you're playing the zombies, you have the target sensor, etc, etc. Overall, Infection is totally fine. It works, it seems like it's pretty fun, and a lot of people are actually loving it. I just don't think it's anything like super duper amazing that should have taken this long. Now the next big piece of content is the two new maps, Forest and Scar. These maps look sick. Scar is the new BTB map. I haven't actually played this one as much because I'm not much of a BTB player, so I'm not going to try and claim whether or not this is a good map or a bad map. I'll leave that to the BTB kids, they know what they like, so I'll let them tell you whether or not Scar is good. I just know it looks pretty cool. Now, Forest, I can tell you a lot about. I've been playing a ton of Forest because it is in the new Ranked Slayer playlist. Forest looks amazing. It is honestly one of the best looking maps in Halo Infinite, and it seems like it has some Sanctuary vibes to it. The layout is kind of similar. You have the ring structure in the middle, you got like bottom mid, top mid, it's kind of a ring, and the aesthetic even reminds me a bit of Shrine from Halo 2 Anniversary. That's probably where my praise for Forest ends. As a casual map, I think it's cool. I think it's a pretty good map if you were just rolling around in quick play or Team Slayer or unranked Team Slayer. But as a ranked map, it's actually really clunky. The flow of the map is kind of weird, and I'm not really a big fan. I think this map works more as a visual set piece than it does an actual functional multiplayer map, and that's a huge bummer. It's just the way the map is set up is just kind of awkward. It doesn't have clean pathways, clean sight lines, and not that everything needs to be super clean. It actually reminds me more of some of the 4v4 maps from Halo 4 than it really does anything else. else. So overall, Forest, cool map, but I don't think it's the best competitive map. But again, that's also not the end of the world. You know, not every map has to be a good competitive map, but it is currently in the Ranked Slayer playlist. Next up, we have the two new Sandbox pieces, the Quantum Translocator and the Threat Seeker. The Quantum Translocator is sort of like a Tracer ability, but you have to activate the first part ahead of time, so it's not quite like Tracer, and it's actually really fun. You can do a lot of cool kind of plays with it, and it's even an infection for even some more fun shenanigans. Now, you don't see it a ton because it's not actually considered an equipment, it's considered a power-up, so it replaces things like Invis on some of the maps like Aquarius, and it's top mid, so you're not going to see it a ton in your games, but when you do get it, it is fun to play with. Now, the Threat Seeker is just the target sensor, but kind of nerfed so it doesn't ping people through walls. It's fine, nothing amazing, but I do think it's like a decent change for ranked play, which is exactly what it was set out to do. We also got the new Battle Pass and the new Core Hazmat, which honestly, I'm totally fine with. We're not going to get into the Battle Pass because at the end of the day, it's a Battle Pass, and you know, with live service games, I can't be asked to care anymore. But the new Hazmat Core is actually kind of cool. Now, logically or lore-wise, I'm not sure how much sense it makes to have a hazmat suit looking Spartan armor, but in the game, it's pretty fun. There's some cool pieces that you can unlock, and of course, like always, there's some things in the store that you can buy to make it look even better. With this, we also got the new weapon model changes, which is basically the first time other than at the very start of the game where we got those weird Cheetos you could put on the end of your gun, where now you can get a fully different model for guns like the battle rifle or the assault rifle, and this is really cool. These are the type of skins that I think are worth paying for, other than just, you know, simply a skin on top of the existing model. I think, again, they took a lot longer than they should have, but they are pretty cool. Next up, we have the career rank. This is the progression system that everyone has been begging for since day one, and it worked. You play the game and you level up all the way from recruit to hero, and it's all just based on playing the game. You can play the game however you want. However, people have found out that the quickest and most effective way to rank up is bot boot camp. So if you're someone who just has to grind the progression system, you can do that. I don't know why on earth you would do that, because currently there's no rewards for leveling up anywhere through it. Although Sketch did make it sound like there might be something when you hit hero, but that hasn't been confirmed. Don't know what it's going to be. Could be something as simple as a nameplate. So I would say don't blast through this. Just play the game at your own pace. It's really not worth anything at the moment. So enjoy the game for what it is. Don't overly grind. Definitely don't grind bot boot camp just to rank this thing up, but it is a progression system. Again, it's very late. This is very basic. I don't know how it took this long, but it is here. We also got some Forge updates that, according to Forgers, are absolutely sick. We got water, more Forerunner objects, the minigame game mode, and visual effects scaling, and a slew of other bug fixes and stuff for Forge. I'm not a Forger, and obviously the update just rolled out, so we haven't really seen the effects of this yet in people's maps, but from what I've read from different Forgers, the updates are very cool, and you're going to be able to see some really cool stuff come out of it, so we'll kind of wait and see there, but that does sound pretty exciting. Next, we have the new ranked playlist, Ranked Team Slayer, and this is where we're going to wrap back up to the top of the video because I'm going on a rant. Alright, Ranked Team Slayer has been one of my favorite playlists across all of Halo. Halo 3, Halo 5, you name it, I was grinding Ranked Team Slayer. It's probably one of my most played playlists throughout all of Halo. And so when they were finally adding it to Halo Infinite, I was actually legitimately very excited. And then it came out and, you know, my excitement was turned into disappointment, turned into apathy, turned into boredom, turned into I want to take a nap when I was playing it. And I'm going to tell you why. So first things first, the settings aren't my favorite. I don't really like assault rifle, bandit rifle starts. All this turns into is an assault rifle spam fest because you have radar and you just run around or crouch around corners with the assault rifle because the assault rifle is overtuned when you compare it to the bandit rifle. If people had BR starts, it wouldn't be as big of a problem because you could play further back, but the bandit rifle doesn't really have that range, so you can actually just outgun the bandit rifle with the assault rifle. Like I said, there's also radar. Honestly, Ranked Team Slayer has always had radar, so I don't know why people are still upset about this. If you want to play no radar BR starts only, you probably just play Team Arena. This was supposed to be a different playlist. That's why it also has a bunch of less competitive maps. It brought back all the maps that have been removed out of Team Arena like Bazaar and Behemoth, and it has the new maps, and honestly, I think that's refreshing and kind of fun, though maps like Argyle are still absolute dog shit, and I just wish they'd actually yeet them from the entire game, not just this playlist. I wish Argyle got deleted from the files. That said, why has Ranked Slayer made me so disappointed? Well, that's because day one, there was a bug. If you finish your placement games early on, instead of ranking into high platinum or diamond as a higher skilled player, pretty much everyone ranked into gold, or even lower if you were lower skilled. And this was confirmed by Toshi. And the problem with this is that it has completely screwed the entire kind of ranked grind. So I'm what I consider an average Halo Infinite player. I hit low Onyx season 1. I'm nothing amazing, and I haven't actually played enough to hit Onyx since then. A lot of my friends are similar. Some of them are admittedly better than me, but most of us are in that low Onyx range, 1500, maybe 1800 at the top end, but none of us are like mega ranked grinders. We don't have any 2K Onyx players in my group of friends that I play with. Since this playlist has dropped, I have over an 80% win rate, going from gold 3 where I placed all the way to diamond 1, and I have probably played 10 plus hours. It sucks. I can count on 2 hands the amount of games that were actually like fun and competitive, and that is a huge problem. Most of the games we are playing actual gold kids or actual platinum kids, and that's not a diss to you, but we're playing people who deserve to be in that ranks while we're flying through the rank and beating them 50 to 15, 50 to 20, 15 to 13, and you go and pull up their stats and they have multiple games in a row like this. They'll have like a combined total of 6 kills over their entire placement games because they're playing people like me and my friends. 4 stacks of people that should have been diamond or should have been onyx already, but instead we have to play all the way through gold where the max CSR you can get per game is 15, even when you absolutely shit on people. It doesn't matter, 15's the cap. And then when we lose, which is rare obviously, but occasionally you do run into other skilled players doing the same thing, you lose like 2 to 5 CSR. So the game knows you don't belong in gold or plat, but because of the messed up placement systems, the entire ranked system is broken at the moment. Obviously, I've been on the winning end of this, so for me, I just take a nap on my controller, hold up and hold right trigger while I shoot people with the assault rifle, and I kind of just shoot the shit with my friends, but even that gets a little boring. But for the people on the other end, the solo queue players, the duo queue players that are queuing into us and repeatedly losing by 30 plus kills to not even amazing Halo Infinite players. Like, I'm talking, we're pretty average. Imagine playing actually good players. This cannot be fun. And I know because I've played the same people multiple games in a row, I don't imagine any of these people coming back to this playlist. The messed up placements in this, I still have friends that are way better than me that haven't played enough games that are still in gold. Once they start playing more of their games, they're gonna just go and shit on a bunch of gold kids for weeks on end while they get out of gold and get through plat and get through diamond, and it's gonna ruin the entire playlist for the entire season until the next time they do placements and hopefully fix it. I don't know why they didn't do a reset once they realized there was a bug, or just maybe artificially boost people, maybe get rid of the cap, maybe let me get like 50 CSR a win when I'm on a 20 goddamn game winning streak, because this isn't fun for anyone. It's not fun for me, I'm wasting my time, and it's definitely not fun for the people that I'm shitting on either, right? I think this is a huge bummer because I love ranked Team Slayer, and even with the settings that I don't love, I still think it's a fun playlist. But this might kill the playlist, and then we're gonna get some blog post about how there was a huge drop off in players. Well, no shit. If I was a gold or plat kid and I queued up against a 4 stack of dudes that were Onyx last season and they beat me 50 to 15, I'm probably not gonna keep playing very long, right? This is a huge bummer, and it's just another bummer on the huge list of things that 343 does and they don't fix properly or they don't fix fast enough. And at this point, I am just apathetic. I see this happening in real time and just shake my head and go, yup, that sounds like 343. Like I said, I have played 70 games going from gold 3 to diamond 1 with a over 80% win rate. That shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen. It's not fun for anyone. I'm not an amazing Halo Infinite player. I'm a low Onyx player. If I was a pro or something doing this, that would make sense. Your average Onyx player, not even average Onyx player, your low Onyx player with 3 of his other buddies that are about the same skill, we shouldn't be winning 80+% of our games just trying to get back into the skill range that we're supposed to be playing. And this all happens because last season, if you remember, they stopped matching by hidden MMR and instead actually matched by the playlist CSR. This is a great change when the rankings make sense, but since the placements are so fucked, instead of playing people off our hidden MMR, which would have been diamond and onyx level lobbies probably, we're just playing actual gold and plat kids the whole time. It also doesn't help population wise that we're 4 stacking and we're constantly playing solo queues and duo queues. I've complained about that before. I think that's a terrible thing. I think if you're 4 stacking, you should only match other 4 stack, but I don't know if Halo Infinite has the population to support that, and there's also people that will defend 4 stacking and playing solo queues to the death. I don't don't understand why. Like, just accept that you're 4-stacking and wait for another 4-stack, or don't 4-stack. But for some people think that's like an attack against their morals, and you know, they want to play with their friends, and if they can't play with their friends, why are they even playing? You can play with your friends, just wait for another 4-stack. But anyways, that's all I'm going to talk about for Ranked Team Slayer. I'm very disappointed. Let's move on to the next thing to talk about. The official Halo account teased something, and for some reason, a bunch of people think it's a battle royale. It's in the goddamn blog, guys. It's the fucking hazmat and containment event, and it starts June 27th. You guys are dumb. Stop overhyping things in Halo. All you do is get disappointed. Why am I so angry about this? It's not a fucking battle royale. They also talked about in the blog other events that are coming this season. We should also talk about that this season is not 3 months. It's like 118 days, so almost 4 months basically. It's not the end of the world, but you know, after being told, you know, they're finally on the proper schedule and all that stuff, it's just a bummer to see that once again, that we still can't get out 3-month seasons. I saw my friend The Burnt Waffle the other day. He made a little graph comparing the average season length of basically all the popular live service games that you know about. Halo Infinite is in absolute dead last. So good job, Halo Infinite. Keep it up. You're doing great. I understand that 343 lost a ton of employees, but at the end of the day, there's a reason they probably lost a lot of employees, and that's because the game was underperforming. So I don't know. Whatever. I'm bummed that the season's longer than it should have been. Do I think that this season is going to hold people for 4 months? No, probably not. We're already seeing a drop off in players, so I guess we'll kind of see. Like I said, they also talk about in the blog some of the other events that are coming this season. They're just more of, you know, the events, so nothing too overly spectacular, or at least nothing overly spectacular that they mention in the blog. We also have to talk about the fact that Sketch came out and said they're no longer doing those narrative event cutscenes because they had to relocate resources to, you know, content or whatever matters the most. And I will be honest, to me, those cutscenes didn't matter. I couldn't even tell you what happened in those prior cutscenes because I watched them once and they instantly left my mind. They didn't matter. Cutscenes that aren't attached to an actual story or actual gameplay, like an actual campaign, literally don't matter to me. But for people who loved those lore drops, this is a big bummer. And I also think it's a bummer because in my mind, this means we're not going to get anything PvE related that is related to cutscenes if they're not making cutscenes. Now, I don't know if Sketch means they're never going to do that or if it's just, you know, for this season or coming up. And hell, we don't even know how many more seasons Halo Infinite is getting. So for now, I would just say the loss of narrative cutscenes is a bummer. For me, it's not the end of the world, but I know a lot of people did like those, and for those people, it sucks. But at the end of the day, 343 has lost a ton of their studio because of, you know, the underperforming video game, and we're going to see more of this. They're not going to get more resources. I think resources will only continue to dwindle down until Halo Infinite is no more. So is Halo Infinite finally worth playing? No. I mean, it's the same game. If you really missed Infection, come on back and play it. But at the end of the day, this is a season that probably should have been season 1. This is a season that should have been included in the base game. And at this point, I'm tired. Obviously, I don't cover Halo Infinite anymore on a day-to-day basis. I probably would have done some very bad things in my life if I continued to ruin my mental health doing that. But for the people that do still play Halo on a regular basis, I just feel bad. Like, 343 has let you down, Microsoft has let you down, and it doesn't seem like there's any revival here in the future for Halo Infinite. What's going to happen for us Halo fans is we're going to wait 5-6 years. They'll finally, you know, at some point they'll announce a new Halo title. We'll get hyped again, and then, you know, if we go by track records, we'll probably just end up disappointed again. But for the short term, all you're going to get is these live service seasons that aren't anything amazing. These aren't going to be seasons that are big enough to revive the game. They're going to be maps. They're going to be game modes. I don't think we're going to see anything revolutionary from Halo Infinite. Stop overhyping yourself about a battle royale. We're not getting an extraction mode anytime soon. It sucks. Being a Halo fan is rough. Being a Halo Infinite fan is rough because a lot of people like the gameplay of Halo Infinite. I've been grinding ranked Slayer. I sometimes enjoy the gameplay of Halo Infinite. I just don't enjoy the package of Halo Infinite and the fact that it's still broken and the fact that it doesn't get content and the fact that now it's really undersupported. That's going to do it for the video. I want to give a huge shout out to the people that are supporting the channel over on Patreon. You guys are the real legends. Without you, I would be a lot more sad. If you want to support the channel monetarily, that is the best way to do it. Otherwise, just watch the videos, share them with your friends, tell them, hey, Arrrash makes variety content now, and he's actually not bad at it. We're trying anything here on the Arrrash channel. I have lots of ideas in my mind. Will they turn out to anything good? I have no clue. But I hope you guys will stick around, and I'll see you all next time.